Welcome in, everyone. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment. Did I say hit the thumbs up button? Really would appreciate the engagement. Make sure that you click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. I did note yesterday that I could be live streaming at an odd point of the day today. I do have my live stream later this evening on mental health. Sort of mental health awareness, I guess you could say. It's actually coincidental that CBG podcast is taking place during, I believe it's Mental Health Awareness Month, which I had no idea it even was, to be honest with you. But really going to hit on some key things there about how there's strength in weakness. Yes, I am shirtless, and yes, I can turn off the camera if that gets too distracting. But quite honestly, this is the best time of the day where this live stream works for me. And I am just chilling right now at CBG headquarters. So I wanted to take a look at the markets with you and kind of give you an update over yesterday in terms of what we're seeing in the markets. Of course, I did give you some key things to watch for in the charts. So with that being said, let's get into things right away. As you can see, we have bounced. I mean, literally, we're looking at the 12-hour chart on Bitcoin. We have bounced right off of the 61,800 level. This area where we're bouncing at the moment right now, coincidental or non-coincidental, you can see that we're hitting not only an area of price confluence at 61.8, okay, if we look left, we're also hitting this prior downward area of resistance, which is now acting as support. Time and time again, I've told you guys that if something is truly bullish in nature and is going to continue for a trend reversal to the upside, once we break an area of downward resistance, we can backtest it. Hell, we could backtest it twice, but we shouldn't fall below it. If we start to fall below 61,800, I would more so look on a daily basis here. On a daily basis, if we start to get candle body closes below 61.8, all that's inviting at the very least is an increased, I don't know what other words I can use, but a increased probability that we're going to come down and test this region, which we don't want to do. Because if we come down to this level, okay, around 56.5, that is going to increase the probability we're going to go lower, right? So we don't want to begin to break down below 61,800, okay? We want to hold 61,800. And again, this is lower time frame price data. When you live stream every single day and there's just chip and chop going on within the market, some of these lower time frame charts are what we tend to pay attention to indicate to us in the shorter to midterm where the trend is, up or down, right? But the thing that you don't want to lose track of is you don't want to lose track of the higher time frames, which I do hit very routinely on. And time again, I will tell you, this green hammer candlestick here is a key sign of a trend reversal on a higher time frame on the weekly. So we'll have to see if that pans out. Guys, let's take a look at a couple other charts we haven't taken a look at either recently or within the past few days here. Let's get an update on the market. Let's take a look at Kaspa. Of course, Kaspa has had a little bit of a bounce here, so let's ask the question. Let's go high time frame first and just kind of see what's going on here. So all that's going on right now is we are, first off, primarily the key thing to watch for that I've indicated to you guys on Kaspa on the weekly here, let's make sure we're retaining candle body closes above the 10 to 9.5 cent area. You do not want to see candle body closes going below 9.5 cents because when you look left here, you can see all of the price confluence coming in here, right? So we do not want to see any candle body closes go below there. I'm fine if price wicks down below here, okay? I don't really care about the price wicks because those are an expression of volatility, okay? So for the time being, we're just kind of hanging out underneath the 10 simple moving average on the weekly. I cannot stress to you enough, while I can't tell you and no one on YouTube can tell you with certainty what's going to happen with the price, where and when it's going to go up or down, what I can tell you with conviction is anytime that the weekly price action has been below, and I understand we have immature price data here, but if we look left, okay, anytime we've been below the 10 simple moving average, below slightly, the 10 simple moving average, below the 10 simple moving average, below the 10 simple moving average, okay, massive buy opportunity, massive buy opportunity, massive buy opportunity. So again, as long as that trend continues, and it's not only the USD pairing that we've looked at with Caspa, guys. I've showed you time and time again. If you're subscribed to this channel, you would know this. The BTC pairing, the Ethereum pairing, the Solana pairing. You're not going to find many other altcoins out there that have as strong a pairing to those three major crypto projects than Caspa, okay? So very, very strong technicals here, not to mention the fundamentals that I always bring up as well and why I'm so bullish on it. H-bar we recently took a look at. Let's see. Let's take a look at Solana. We haven't taken a look at Solana. Mad Max, glad to see you on the live stream. Yeah, one of the nice things about live streaming at a different point during the day is it does provide an opportunity for other people who are not able to join live to join live. So something that I'll perhaps be more cognizant of. There's something to be said. If you go live at the same time every single day, obviously I think that's what most YouTubers like to go for because there's consistency and you can count on when they're going live. But there's also something to be said about, especially on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I do a live TA Q&A, going live at a different time, whether it's 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time because I get up early, or a break in the middle of the day at 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. You do have the opportunity to engage with people, to ask questions that otherwise wouldn't be able to ask questions. So appreciate you chiming in there, my friend. Solana is just continuing to do what it's done since the end of 2022. Building higher highs and higher lows. You can see right now we're getting rejected right around this 150 to 160 area, which is not surprising. In fact, at the moment I see a double top. If we look at the weekly candlestick right here, you can see a high here at 160 and a high here at 159. So this area, what I'm saying is, this area right here, you can see we're getting rejected right there, right? So we really want to start breaking above this 150 to 160 area on Solana. Not that I don't have any, again, I have a high degree of conviction this thing's going to break sooner rather than later, but that's really what you want to watch for. The other thing that the price, when we have, and again, you have another hammer candlestick coming in the weekly here. When you study technical analysis, one of the things that you recognize is, just focusing on price data for a second, if you're assessing the price data and it's most likely telling you that because of a trend reversal bullish candlestick right here, that we could most likely see trend confirmation continue to go to the upside. As that happens, if that were to continue to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks here, okay, and we start pressing up towards 200, the other thing you recognize as a technical analyst is you go down to these price indicators and you're going to start seeing the stochastic RSI pop up above 20 and get a bullish confirmation. You're going to see a relative strength index pop above 60 to 70. And you're going to see this MACD flatten out and curl back up. All of those price indicators are going to suggest momentum to the upside. So those are other things that we're going to be watching for in the price. One other thing I kind of skipped over, I did want to take a look at Caspa on a lower time frame. Let's see, lower time frame. Let's just kind of, because there are some nice, and you can see, this is in general what I was expecting. Certainly didn't pan out. I had, it's funny. It's funny some of the trolls you get that literally have nothing better to do than to comment on people's videos and tell you how wrong you were about something. Individuals like that, clearly when they come to my channel and they leave comments like this, clearly are not listening to the words spoken. They look at a thumbnail, they make an assumption, they probably skip through half the video, and they actually don't listen to what I'm saying. I can't tell you when this thing's going to pop to the upside. I always told you that there was a probability for this thing to come down to these price levels and what to watch for. This is just taking longer than I expected. That's all that's going on here. It doesn't mean that price action, when you zoom out here, isn't bullish as fuck, because it is, all right? We've been correcting and consolidating in this area, okay, and just waiting to start press up towards 12.9 and get above this 50 simple moving average on the 2-day at around 13.5. I wouldn't truly begin to get excited about Caspa until you start seeing it clear 15 cents and hold it as support on candle body closing basis. But if we look at the 2-day, a lower time frame here, and we take a look at the price indicators, you can see things are beginning to turn around. Why do I say that? Look at the MACD. Okay, the first thing I'm looking at here, the MACD looks like it wants to try to pop up here and get a positive cross. Now keep in mind, when we get the positive cross, it's not just about getting a positive cross. It's also about getting above the 0 trigger line. Okay, right now we are negative on the MACD. Look at you can actually see it. I can see the video, but if you look above the video of me, you can see the reading on the MACD. Look at the reading on the MACD. You see the blue and the orange. See how they're negative? You want those to get to 0, okay, above 0. So it's not just the blue crossing above the orange. You need the blue and the orange to be above 0. And that would be, I believe, right here. Yes. Right? So, oh, wow. Okay, so it's all the way up here. Okay, my bad. Yeah, well, that would make sense because of the histograms. So we need the MACD to not just get a positive cross. We need it to get all the way up here, right? And that's going to take several candlesticks. That's not going to happen overnight. But you can also see on the relative strength index, RSI is starting to slowly pick up here. You can actually see a little bit of bullish divergence. I wonder if it's more present on a daily. Yeah, you got some bullish divergence because if I look at a daily, you can see the RSI is generally increasing in value as price has gone down, okay? So there is some bullish divergence on the daily. It just means that strength is running out to the downside. If we look on a 2-day, we can also see the relative strength index building here, okay? So you can see the RSI is generally increasing in value as price has been stagnant here. But again, I'm not getting too excited about price. And the stochastic RSI, by the way, is well above 20 with a positive cross, which is good to see. So momentum is beginning to come into cast. But again, it's steps, right? I'm not telling you that I'm not, turning an eye to this chart once we begin breaking downward resistance, clearing 13 cents and heading up towards 14.8. That's going to catch my attention. But what will really leave me feeling confident about price ultimately turning to the upside and creating new all-time highs on its way to the top 20, if not getting close to or in the top 10, in my opinion. You really want to see it start to clear and hold 15 cents. That's what I'm going to be looking for. We took a look at Solana. Let's take a look at let's mix things up. Let's take a look at the DXY. Thumbs up if you're appreciating the content midday here, taking a look at the charts with me. Who do we have in the live stream? Yeah, man, I'm just chilling in CBG headquarters here, so that I'm not putting on a shirt to appease the audience. I'm sure you can stand the side of my nipples. I remember there were a few live streams. I thought to myself before I came on here, I was like, I know there were a few live streams where Cryptos Are Us, what's his name? I don't know. I haven't watched his channel forever. George? He did a few live streams where he was in a pool and shirtless, and I was like, look, if that dude can do it, there is no reason I can't. So, all right, so who else is in the... Appreciate the support. Questions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 786WP. Sorry, we do that Tuesdays and Thursdays, so come on back tomorrow. We can do that. Raghorn, welcome in, my friend. I haven't seen you in quite some time. So what's going on with the DXY? Well, let me make sure I clearly explain this. In general, there is an inverse correlation which exists, a negative correlation, an inverse relationship which exists between the DXY and the traditional markets or crypto, right? So in general, as one is going up, the other is going down. But that's not 100% always the case, right? There are plenty of cases where the dollar index, the Dixie, has gone up as crypto has gone up, for instance, or gone down as crypto has gone down. But in general, what you do want to see on this chart, you want to see weakness. So I don't like to see, quite frankly, that we broke this downward area of resistance. I really wanted to see this hold for a really weak dollar and to continue to plummet down, okay? Now, we haven't gotten that, but even though we broke that downward resistance, and this is on a 2-week, by the way, so this is a higher time frame, you can see we're starting to pick up here, stochastic RSI, so we're starting to see some renewed and continued strength in the dollar index. The question is, are we going to double top? I'm actually going to... should I simplify this chart? Because this is starting to get a little messy here. We've got to turn this into support. No, I'm not going to clean it up. I'm going to add one other line. This line right here, and we're going to make it an orange line just to... This chart is getting a little messy, I will admit. The question is, will we clear this orange line, okay, or will we double top? The reason I say that is because you could make the argument, okay, that the dollar is truly regaining strength. We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low. If we start to break and hold above 107.3, that would imply we're getting up into this region. We have higher highs and higher lows, guys. So that's not what we want to see. What we want to see is we want to see this roll over at this point, or we want to see a double top come in around 107. Okay, we don't want to see us hanging out here and holding support and then starting to break up. That would not, in general, be good for the asset markets. Okay, whether you're talking about traditional stock market or crypto. Am I anticipating that? No, but we have to keep this on our radar because right now there is some strength coming back into the Dixie. Where do I see the dollar index? What do I generally see the dollar index ultimately doing? I still see it rolling over, okay? And it parallels my thoughts on crypto, okay? I could see it falling all the way down. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about my own personal projections on what I see with the dollar. We could enter this triple bottom territory at 89. I think that would be the lowest call I would have. But personally, I think it's a lot more likely that we bottom out somewhere maybe around this ascending line of support, maybe around like 93 to 95, 93 to 95 in that area. So we'll have to see. But in general, what you do want to see if you're anticipating for the stock market, for crypto, to have a true melt up before a meltdown, which has not occurred yet. That is my primary view. It's what I've been stating since the end of 2022. Still haven't seen the true melt up yet. If that is your view, no matter if the melt up will occur by mid this year, end of this year, early 25, in general, you do anticipate and want to see the dollar continue to roll over. So that's what I would watch on the Dixie. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Guys, I've indicated to you we need a strong Ethereum. Once Ethereum truly begins to break out towards $5,000 and above, you're going to see a lot of conviction come into your altcoin market. Now, Bitcoin is the number one thing that you do want to watch if you want to simplify your life and understand where the market is at in general. I've spent a lot of time talking about Bitcoin, and really to simplify your life, if you just want to focus on one chart, Bitcoin. That's literally... You could just look at a monthly view on Bitcoin or a 2-week view on Bitcoin and just simplify your life. But we also need for there to be conviction and confidence within the altcoin space. History tells us we need Ethereum to begin to break out above this $4,800, $4,900 level. I simplified it by saying 5,000, right? Create new all-time highs within the market. Not a lot of new developments here within the chart. We're not really seeing a lot of, let's see what we're doing this week. We're just chipping and chopping around, guys. Ultimately, let's just not break 2,800. I do not want to see us, on a candle body closing basis, break below 2,800. Now, this weekly candle on Ethereum, this is not as bullish as the green hammer candlesticks that we saw, the hammer candles that we saw on both Bitcoin and Solana. Okay, not as bullish, all right, not as bullish. But still... The long wick to the downside, this is still a hammer candlestick. Don't get me wrong. Just because it's red doesn't mean it's not a hammer candlestick. It is, and it could be a potential sign of a trend reversal to the upside. I mean, general premise here is you have a nice long wick here where there was seller exhaustion. So you really don't want to see prices. I wouldn't even really want to see prices come back here. And the reason I say that is we essentially have, I mean, I'll just change this for the time being to here, right? We have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Okay, anything, and I've said this, I'm very consistent in what I say. Anytime you start to get more than 3 touches on an area of price confluence, there is a much higher degree of probability that area of price confluence will break. Whether we're talking about to the upside at resistance, whether we're talking about to the downside at support, right? We do not want to see prices come down towards this $2,800 $2,850 to $2,830 level, okay? That is not what we want to see. What we do want to see is we do want to see prices to continue to come up here, or not continue to come up here. We want to see prices come up, break the descending line of resistance, and then start to smash through these higher areas here. When will I start to become excited about Ethereum? when I start seeing Ethereum pushing up towards this price level, upper $3,000 range, the $3,900 level, we're just shy of 4,000. That's when you can feel comfortable to start to get excited about Ethereum and the altcoin space. What other tokens can we take a look at here? We're 20 minutes in. What other tokens can we take a look at? Casp is having a nice day. Did see a post that I meant to comment on earlier for WIF that it's going to like $1, which I don't see. If that were to happen, I would be buying the fuck out of it. I would if WIF has some sort of a correction that takes it down towards the lower $1 area. Thoughts that I shared with you on Render. Not that I wouldn't consider getting into Render, but I would certainly, if the opportunity presented itself and I had a meaningful amount of capital mid-June and WIF is down at $1.50 or $1.30, I would be putting a lot of capital in there. Never financial advice. All right, let's see what we can take a look at here. I need to revise my watch list because they're all out of sorts in terms of what should be on here. Guys, something we haven't taken a look at in a while is actually just the relative health of traditional markets. Let's take a look at that. We've been spending a lot of time on crypto. It is important to understand what the relative health of traditional markets is because that does factor into the cryptocurrency world. You know, I've always said that you're not going to have this risk-on environment within crypto, which is the riskiest thing that you can get into in many ways outside of penny stocks. With a lot of these, people aren't going to want to get into a risk-on environment unless the traditional markets are doing well, right? So let's take a look at the NASDAQ first. This is a 2-week chart. All right. Price. Let's actually just look at the price indicators real quick. Now this is a 2-week. I don't know. Do I want to look at a weekly? So let's look at the weekly. Okay. So we did have a negative cross down on the stochastic RSI. You can see since then we have resumed to the upside and we've gotten a positive cross above 20. You can see we're at. You probably can't see it. Let me get this. Oh, that's right. My face is in the way. Okay, now that the camera's gone, you can see right now, if you read that stochastic RSI reading, you can see where we're at 35, right? This reading right here, focus here, we're at 35 over 22, okay, 35 over 22. So these three green candlesticks, after we had this massive bearish candlestick here, we've resumed trend to the upside. The relative strength index, really great to see. Now, I had this sketched out from times past. I had some sort of price confluence, and I don't know if this is maybe on the 2-week, but I had some sort of, I'd have to re-verify why I have this, but I have some sort of price confluence on the RSI at 51. It looks like we bounced right off that level. And the MACD is trying to regain some footing here, right? You can see the histogram is starting to get light red here, okay? Now, let's focus in on price action. So price action is king, right? What do I like to see on the chart here? Well, if we're focusing on the weekly, ignore the dotted lines. That's from a prior video, something that we can perhaps talk about at a different point in time as we start to get later in the year. For those who have been here for a little bit, this has to do with the interest rate cycle and interest rate cuts. And essentially what I've plotted out here with these vertical dotted lines is based on recent history within the past 20-some years. This is when you can expect rate cutting to begin. So you can see I have this drawn out between March and October, something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. And as those rate hikes do begin to come in this year, which I do anticipate, we can kind of talk about what to anticipate within the market. That's going to be something critical that everybody here needs to understand, okay? I've spent a lot of time talking about that in the past, but sometimes I can appreciate, even if you tuned into those live streams, you know, I'm throwing so much information at you, it's hard to remember everything, right? It's a lot to digest at times. So as we start to get closer to a point where interest rates look like they are going to begin to decrease, or when we actually get the official announcement, let's have a conversation about what that actually means, historically speaking, for markets. But right now, what I like to see on the NASDAQ, if we just focus on the weekly here, this 10 simple moving average is a historic area here, okay? We typically, once we go below it, we are increasing the likelihood, once we get a candle body close below here, that we could see much further downside, okay? Now, you can see here, back in, this was August, I remember the conversations I was having with my parents. You can see when we got the close here, we temporarily got above it, a little bit of a fake out and more downside until we resumed. Okay, here, big bearish candlestick. What I like to see is for the time being, okay, for the time being, we have pushed back up above the 10 simple moving average, okay? Really what I'd like to see is for prices to... You see this orange line right here? There's a lot of price confluence right at that orange line. And the orange line is approximately at, let's take a look at it together. The orange line is approximately at 18,366. So let's simplify our lives. 18,350, okay? When you start to see the NASDAQ push up and above 18,350, fucking bull on, okay? Bull on, bull on, bull on. I don't know what the hell that means, but I just came up with that right now. Where's the 20 simple moving average? I thought there was another moving average that I would typically take a look at on this chart. All the moving averages, you know, one basic premise in charting that you do want to keep in mind when you're evaluating a chart, it doesn't matter what you're charting, whether, I love when people say that you should look at the DXY differently when you're charting it than a traditional asset that you would chart. People who say that literally have no idea what they're talking about. Whether you're talking about the Dixie, the DXY dollar, whether you're talking about crypto pairings, whether you're talking about USD cryptos that you're charting, one of the most basic things that you want to look for on any time frame that will signal to you the relative strength within a chart is for all of the moving averages to be in the right chain of order and to all be moving up. So what do I mean by the right chain of order? You want the smallest numbers at the top proceeding down to the higher numbers, right? So if we look, for instance, if we look here, you can see the 200's at the bottom, the 50 is above the 200, then comes the 20, which is the orange, and the 10. So now in chronological order, or I guess you would say descending order, we have the 250, 20, and 10. That's what you want to see. And then the second question you want to ask yourself is, are all of the moving averages moving up? Okay, in this case, 200 is moving up, 50 is moving up, 20 is moving up, and the 10 has resumed movements up. Okay, anytime you start to get the lower moving averages crossing below the higher moving averages, that suggests weakness in more recent price action relative to a longer period of time. Okay, so it's expressing that in the shorter term, you're seeing more weakness in the price than you saw over a more extended period of time. It's not what you want to see. Okay, so very, very good to see on this chart. This chart looks very healthy, and so far is still. There's nothing about this chart that makes me feel differently that there's still another massive leg up, and we're going to see a melt up within traditional markets. Same with crypto. This year, latest early next year. Let's take a look at the. We're not going to take a look at the Dow. Let's just take a look at the S&P real quick. Mad Max. Super chats are never expected but always appreciated, kind sir. Guys, when you guys, I genuinely never expect super chats, but always nice to feel the love from the community, right? As I always say, it's like tipping your waiter, and I definitely appreciate it. But even the comments, guys, I haven't read all the comments that are there, but really do appreciate the support showing up for the live stream. It does mean a lot because I do put a lot into this. So here is the S&P. As you can see on the weekly, once again, my face is blocking the way, but same sort of thing on the stochastic RSI. We have a positive cross back above 20, which is good to see. The RSI is at 65, which is a good bullish territory to be in. Now, the MACD, even though we've gotten a negative cross down, you see what's going on here, right? Look at the histogram. We're starting to lighten up. This MACD is beginning to flatten out. And as long as we can continue to see these green candlesticks coming in over the handful of weeks within May, of course, they say sell in May and go away. That's not what I said. I had tweeted and posted something out there on Twitter. If you follow me at Crypto Bull God on Twitter, that was not my expectation for the month. I put out a little clever rhyme out there, so you could search my page for that. But maybe I'll repost it. But things are looking good on the price indicators. Let's check out price candles as they are a price action is king. I'm stuttering over my words here. Again, nice to see a huge green hammer candlestick come in on the weekly last week. as bearish as this candle was, this is a very bearish candlestick. This thing comes in and says, fuck you. This is the middle finger. Hold on, can I draw this? No, that's not going to work. I can't draw the fuck you. All right. Well, this green hammer candlestick basically just said fuck you to 2 prior candlesticks ago, okay? Hopefully I don't get demonetized by YouTube. They are the lord and overseers of content and may demonetize my channel if I use too many curse words. Yes, this is how things work behind the scenes. So what do we want to see right now? For me to start to feel convicted that we're truly going to break out to new all-time highs, I want to start to break above the bodies of these 2 candlesticks. And the bodies of these 2 candlesticks are close 52.50. 52.54, but we'll make it 52.50. So really, when you start to see the S&P getting at and above 52.50, fucking bull on. Bull on. I think I may have just come up with that term, guys. I don't think that's really a real saying. 52.50. Bull on. All right, we got to make that 52.54. Apparently, okay, 52.54. Bull on. But this is looking very healthy. There's nothing to be concerned about here. I don't see anything on the charts that leaves me feeling concerned. Let's get to the comments real quick. We're going to sign out. Make sure that you tune in today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a much more serious podcast. So I'll try to add entertainment where I can, but it's actually going to be a pretty serious conversation. So where there is strength in weakness, and you can read the description on the live stream video that's up right now. You can kind of read what we'll be talking about. Evan, good to see you. Again, I'll take TA questions tomorrow. Mad Max, I do see that. Do you have a question? Yeah, so you have a question on VRA. I promise you I will chart that tomorrow. But I want to keep, with the structure of these live streams. Live TA Q&A is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I promise you I will chart that tomorrow. In fact, I'll actually make a note of it. It's not like I have 5,000 people in the live stream and I'll lose track of stuff. So I promise you I'll make a note of it and we'll chart it tomorrow. News is noise, my friend. News is noise with XRP. Welcome in, Donkey Dong. Appreciate the compliments. Again, if you weren't here at the top of the live stream, I'm just chilling around my place. I was going to put on a shirt. I'm like, fuck that. This is my live stream, and I don't feel like putting on a shirt just to appease the audience. Like, if people don't want to see my nipples, feel free to tune out. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I gave you my honest thoughts on XRP. Am I mostly cash? Absolutely not. I'm balls to the wall in crypto, my friend. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. And just to clarify, I think the question may have been asked at me. The question is, am I mainly in cash? I think that was the question that was being asked. No, I am not mainly in cash. No, I am balls to the wall in crypto. I can't stress that enough. I'm as transparent as I choose to be on this channel. I'm not going to come out. Again, I'm not somebody who comes out and shares all of his specific holdings and tells you how much of something I hold. No, that's my own personal. No one knows that information except for myself, quite frankly. So, but I will be as transparent in terms of if I'm out or in the market or what percentage and what some of my larger holdings are. That I'm completely transparent with you guys. So I am balls to the wall in. I cannot stress that enough. So you can see the look on my face. I don't have a good poker face. Do not have a good poker face. If I'm pissed off, you know it. If I'm excited, you know it. If I'm being honest with you, you can tell. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning in once again at a atypical time. Glad to have some people on this live stream that typically are not able to make it, like Mad Max. And I will be taking TA questions tomorrow. So I do hope to see you later this evening, though, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward. Take care, everyone. I'll see you later today. And I will be wearing a shirt.